Today we're going to discuss 5 popular myths that you commonly hear around NFTs. But before we start, Omar, can you just quickly define what an NFT is, please?
Sure. Very simply, you think about something like the Mona Lisa. There's only one of them in the world. It's singularly unique. In the crypto space, an NFT would be a token that is unique on the blockchain. It has all the same attributes as a cryptocurrency. They reside on a blockchain. They can be moved around, they can be traded, but they represent digital scarcity, they represent a digital object, and the person that holds that token, that NFT, is the owner of it.
So we like to say a lot that NFTs are not digital art. It is a token that represents that digital art, and that could be music, it could be an image, it could be many things, and the space is evolving constantly. So we're seeing where this is going every day. Okay, so myth number 1. NFTs are a type of cryptocurrency.
That's an easy one. It's obviously not. They reside on blockchains just like cryptocurrencies, but because they're unique and because you can make them scarce, they're nothing like a cryptocurrency. They can be traded like a cryptocurrency, but they represent a unique object, a digital object, whether it's art, music, as you said. They're not fungible like cryptocurrencies are.
Exactly. Keyword unique, right? A cryptocurrency, one Bitcoin is the same as another Bitcoin. That is fungible. Yeah. Non-fungible token, every single one is completely unique from the other.
They stand alone from each other.
Correct. All right, number 2, NFTs are always bad for the environment.
This is a common myth. It really depends on what blockchain you're choosing. Some blockchains are more secure than others. The ones that are using proof of work are going to be the most secure. There's other consensus mechanisms. And the consensus mechanism is just the way the blockchain agrees on what is valid and what's not. So those blockchains that are energy intensive will give you the most security assurances, but there's other alternatives that take less energy, but you trade off the security assurance, which could be a problem if your NFTs are incredibly valuable, because you got to think about the long-term viability of that blockchain if it doesn't have the security assurances. So, it really depends on what blockchain you're choosing. Bitcoin is proof of work. It's energy intensive because it has to be, because it stores, over at this point $1 trillion worth of value. So people that are investing in Bitcoin want that assurance there that really nothing can corrupt their entries on the ledger that prove their ownership.
And also we should make a distinction between energy intensive and bad for the environment. There's a lot of stuff happening right now in the Bitcoin world where there's a ton of movement from the mining community into renewable energy, and that's happening every single day.
That's a very good point. When you really dig down, through the noise, and you really look at, at how the Bitcoin mining works and where they're getting their energy from, not only are they using renewable sources, but they're in many cases helping power grids expand their capacity with renewable resources to better serve their customers. They create a constant load. They're a constant buyer on a network, which is great for consumers, great for energy, and of course, great for sustainability.
Great. Okay, number 3, myth number 3, you need to be tech savvy to invest or own NFTs.
I wouldn't say you necessarily need to be tech savvy. You do want to spend some time to learn how it all works before you enter the foray and buy your first NFT. And that's just as simple as taking a Saturday, right, and just getting a wallet, connecting it to a site like OpenSea, buying your first NFT. You could buy your first NFT for less than $10. And it's the best way to learn, just like anything else that you really want to learn in a meaningful way. You don't want to learn just by reading it all. You can read all day and still not really understand it. But by doing it, you can really understand how it works. And you want to really pay attention, of course, to security. That's probably the most important aspect of investing in whether it's cryptocurrencies or NFTs. Never give away your seed phrase. The seed phrase is what is your recovery phrase for your wallet. You want to just follow some basic, security best practices if you're going to be entering this space. So I wouldn't say you need necessarily be tech savvy. You just got to have a little bit of common sense, and you got to keep your guard up, because it is, it's a very nebulous place in terms of the actors that are in the space, and common sense goes a long way.
And it's early days. Imagine trying to figure out email, in the very early days of the internet. That's kind of where we are right now. So it's becoming more and more user-friendly, more and more accessible every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, myth number 4, NFTs have limited use.
this is a total myth. Brands are using NFTs in very unique ways. Super Bowl was just on last night, and we saw ads from Bud Light about these unique experiences that they're going to be enabling with their NFTs. And that's the key thing. This is a brand new fertile ground for brands to experiment, to understand what works, what doesn't work, and really create experiences that they can use to better connect with their fans, their end users, their customers. There's also perks that can be delivered to NFTs over time. There's so many different ways you can use NFTs to meet any number of business objectives. So it really comes down to understanding what you want to do with these NFTs and creating a program that's going to be compelling, a concept that's going to be compelling that can draw in people that are going to be participating in that NFT project. There's also other things too. There's for the NFT holders, there's new platforms where the NFT can be placed and gain yield, or you can collateralize now an NFT to take a loan off of. So there's new use cases. There's a whole new ecosystem that's growing around these NFTs that I think is, it's creating a lot more value to both the holders and to the brands that are issuing these NFTs.
And we're mentioning brands because that's what we specifically work with, but artists are doing some really, really cool stuff. I mean, this is finally a time again when musicians can monetize their recordings. I mean, it's been since CDs that's really been something that's been a worthwhile revenue stream for them. So there's a lot coming out with this every day, and we're really excited to see how it evolves.
Absolutely, and I think one of the keys there is it enables a peer-to-peer interaction between the brand or the artist or the celebrity with the NFT holders. There's no intermediaries there, so that's something that really exciting in terms of the creativity that can come out of that.
Very cool. Myth 5, NFTs are a fad. They're here today, they're gone tomorrow.
They're not a fad. The internet was called a fad. Cryptocurrencies were called a fad. Obviously, those things are wildly successful, and they're constantly growing over time. Could it be in a bubble? Potentially. But we saw a bubble during the dot-com age in the late 90s. And what rose out of that bubble was Amazon, Google, right? A lot of the top brands that we know today, a lot of the top brands that are an integral part of our life, right? So, but it goes to a key point, and that is you as a brand want to create an NFT project that is going to have not only really good value that underlines it, but continue to provide value over time so that you can really, continue through any of these kind of market conditions that we might see.
Yeah, you can't be lazy in this. You can't just say, here's, we're this big brand and we're just going to create this piece of art and you buy it. And you have to think about how can you deliver interesting experiences and perks that you can't get in other ways. If you could drive all that value through the NFT, then price fluctuations don't matter as much.
Exactly. It really is all about delivering as much value to the community so that you have an active and engaged and passionate community. As the saying goes, a rising tide raises all ships. So what's good for the community is going to be great for the brand. And it's really about developing this economic incentive and this ecosystem of value between the brand itself and the community.
Key point, don't just try to take advantage and make quick money grabs. Don't think short term about just throwing out an NFT project just to make some money quickly. Think about it as a long-term value process.
Absolutely. And if you are going to do a project that is seen as a money grab, probably going to have a negative effect on the brand. You don't want to be cringe. You don't want to be a meme in the space. You really want to deliver some real value to foster that community, whether it's strengthen your relationship with your existing community or having access to, a new community of participants that are going to come in and appreciate your brand.
Well put, don't be cringe. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to learn more about how your brand can benefit or utilize NFT technology, Web3, then we would love to speak with you. Go to sascodigital.com and we'll see you next time.